You are listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Currently, talking all things Kansas City Current, NWSL, with Daniel Kooser here, with Chris Wright as well. Hey, man, what's up?
I mean, the elephant in the room, Kansas City won the Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl. Why don't I just have a closet door open? Just showing my closet off. Hold on one sec. Look at that. That's live TV, folks.
I'm sure Marissa's not trying to get into the closet for something we can't see her.
Let's just show off my vacuum, in case you were wondering. I think it's a nice little upright shark vacuum. Good stuff. Yeah, Super Bowl, dude. Wow. It's what do we think? Was that a good one? Have a good time? Eat too much food?
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan, so it's kind of a neutral game for me. I just wanted a good game, but
it's not neutral. As a Cowboys fan, you're supposed to hate the Eagles.
Oh, yes.
That's not neutral.
No. I don't want the Eagles to win it all. I want them to not be successful in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that. But as an added, element, obviously I want Kansas City to win. I want our city to be happy. I want Patrick Mahomes to chase Tom Brady. It is one of the best football players to ever live. He's working his way up there. And
weird times, my guy. Weird times.
Yeah. Another ring for a Kansas City Current Royals sporting owner. It's crazy, man.
It's weird. It's just weird. I don't. I gotta tell you, at no point in this Super Bowl was I ever worried. There were times where I was like, not good. I was like, that's not good. But I always kind of felt it's gonna come through. Things are gonna happen. You know what I mean? Second half team, dude. Like, we've had comebacks before. We're down by 10 at the half, and everyone's like writing us off because the Eagles just had a first half. Guess what? There's nothing more irrelevant than a halftime score. So everyone's freaking pumped up about how well they played in the first half. Just relax and talk about the end of the game. You sorry excuse for an analyst. I'm just saying. And even Kelsey at the end was like, everyone tried to count us out, put some respect on our name. We weren't picked like any week throughout these playoffs. Welcome to Currently, a Chiefs podcast, because I'm just like, it's fresh, right? It's fresh on the mind.
If there's one day we could talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, today is the one, right?
It's it.
There's a parade going on as we speak.
Yeah.
Mahomes, I'm happy for him, his family, everybody in Kansas City. I don't know. I'm envious. I'm jealous. I'm a Cowboys fan, but congratulations to all the Chiefs fans out there.
You're allowed to you're allowed to be a fan of two teams, especially two in complete different conferences. You don't have to say, I'm just a Cowboys fan, buddy. You can have multiple teams.
It's tough. It's tough. I don't like to be a fan that just, like, for example, when the Royals won the World Series, I didn't get much gratification out of it because I didn't go to games. I wasn't supporting the team when they were struggling. I didn't want to claim credit as a fan for when they won. So,
when I lived in Chicago, I was all Royals, Chiefs, whatever, but I still supported the Chicago teams because the Chicago teams weren't even in the same division or conference or whatever as the Kansas City teams, except for the White Sox, of course, but no one likes the White Sox, even in Chicago. But trying to follow the Cubs and stuff, they barely played the Royals. So you can do that, but believe in yourself. You can do it.
But I'm thrilled Kansas City won, man. It's so much energy around the city. I live in Lawrence, and fireworks are going off, man. People are honking their horns, and as I'm watching the game in my house. Everybody cares. Everybody's excited, and I love it. It just brings more energy to the community when the Current inevitably go to another championship.
Right. Even at the USWNT training camp, they did a little video segment talking about who are you picking for the Super Bowl game. And I gotta be honest, and I'm not even mad at them, but a lot of the ladies said I'm picking Rihanna. because that's what I'm most excited to see. Except our gal AD Branch was like, should probably support a co-owner of my team. So go Chiefs.
Even Alex Morgan picked the Chiefs.
Did she?
Yeah, because Mahomes is a co-owner. So good for. And Shay Groom from the Houston Dash showed up to training camp with a Mahomes like hair hat thing. So she's supporting Kansas City. So it's kind of nice to see.
Little hat hair. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but
no, those are great. That's fantastic. Man, we have reached the days, though, where if you go buy like a Mahomes jersey or a Mahomes hoodie now or something like that, you might very well be a bandwagoner. Like, I mean, it's like the thing to do, right? Like, oh, everyone's got it. And it's like, I'm all about being unique and individualism and stuff. But if you go buy Mahomes or Kelsey stuff, it's like you're one in a million, pal. You're just one of the crowd, you know? Just how it feels. I don't know. It's weird. I was doing my shopping, right? I was like, gotta get my gear. Gotta go spend a couple $100 on stuff because that's what we do when Super Bowl season rolls around. And I was passing on all the stuff that had their names on it. I was like, I don't deserve to wear that. Am I getting touchdowns or throwing them? No, it's not me. It's not my name.
But I don't know. I'm just jealous you even get to have that option. The Cowboys have not been to an NFC Championship game in 27 years.
You can have that option. Oh. We will allow it. You live like 40 minutes away from Kansas City. It's okay. Yeah. We'll take you.
I appreciate that. I feel welcome.
As a Cowboys fan, I can't imagine you would do the same for us. Even Dak Prescott was like, go Chiefs, because, Eagles.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. Well, that's our 7-minute power minute on Chiefs. So we'll never mention it again, probably. Probably not. We said we talk about that NWSL schedule. Is that what we need to do today?
I think we need to
break some shit down since they decided to integrate the Challenge Cup into it. It's going to be weird, man. That Challenge Cup I expect to come before the season every year, and now they're like, nah, we're going to weave it. We're going to figure eight it in there. So it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it kind of feels like if we had it at the beginning of the season, we'd be getting a lot closer to some soccer right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Season starts March 25th, man. Not exactly a long ways away. A month and some change. So, but you get to start it off. North Carolina Courage, Dabinia going back there to spank her old team, huh?
Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about these games and just give a little bit of kind of what we expect in them. And it's early, right? Players are training. We don't know what the final roster is going to look like, but I certainly expect Kansas City to beat North Carolina. They lost Dabinia, obviously. They lost Ordonez to Houston, who was a huge piece. They had a decent draft, but there's just no way they can make up for those losses.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I went through and I tried to match up Sporting schedule, KC Current schedule, just to see if there was any kind of overlap there as far as I like to travel to a game or two each year. It's just fun. It's a fun way to get into a new city, see a new stadium, see some soccer as well. And I can confidently say there is no overlap. It's not like I can go to Chicago and watch SKC play the Fire and maybe stay there for a week and end my trip seeing Current play the Red Stars. It's not a thing. There's no overlap. So I tried. I did some analytics. Can't do it.
I'm glad you did. I wanted to do it, and I didn't get a chance. So I'm glad you got there. That's kind of a bummer though, man, because we talked about, we've talked off air about going to games and hopefully catching a Saturday, Sunday, right, if we can or something. But
yep, just not possible. Fans don't matter when it comes to scheduling. It's no one's fault but the league, probably. So what are you going to do? The leagues, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, dude, our home opener, I thought was a joke because not only are we playing the defending champions, but it's on April 1st. So I was like, you playing jokes? What is this? It's April Fool's playing the defending champs. I don't like it. It feels like some tomfoolery could happen. But if you don't smell revenge in the air, I think you're not living. Right? If you're not smelling that, if you're not mad from the taste they left in our mouth when we were live, you, me, and my wife, in D.C. watching this game, revenge is a dish best served cold, my friend.
Just taking a look at this whole schedule, that's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most, right?
The whole schedule? Dude, it comes too early. April 1st, I mean, we don't even know who we are. What's our identity?
I don't know, but I want that revenge. We've had a phenomenal offseason. Everybody's talked about the players that we've gotten, and the draft picks. I want to test it. I want to, we're excited about it. I want to see them play the best, which is Portland. So that's what I'm excited about. It's going to be a good benchmark right off the get-go as to where we stand against top teams. And last year, our first regular season game was against Portland. And we lost, I think, 3-0 or something like that.
Not fun.
So, and we've struggled against Portland in the past. They're just a really good team. For whatever reason, we haven't had much success. So, I mean, this is not just a championship rematch, but this is we leveled up. This team leveled up, and here we go. And I want to see kind of where we stand.
Even if this wasn't a championship rematch, even if it was just a regular game against Portland, it would still be God dang, it's Portland. That's the bar. The bar is Portland and has been for a while. So
yep.
You could throw OL Reign into that conversation as well. They have very consistently been the top, and you want to be there with them or above them. So test right away, dude. Pretty excited.
And they didn't lose anybody, really, right? They really didn't lose anybody, and they got Renya Reyes, the draft pick, I think the 3rd or 4th overall draft pick, an outside back. So I don't know if she's gonna start right off the bat, but that's just another added piece and weapon that Portland got. So it's gonna be a tough game. I don't want to have a prediction there, but it's gonna be a really good game.
Nah, man, we don't make predictions in the first month of the league. That just sounds crazy. Dude, then you got to go to Chicago on tax day. All right, it's going to be fun to see Chicago and what they are from having a lot of big players leave them.
Or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect from them, really. Never really have. That team doesn't get much respect because they don't really play in Chicago proper. It's just they play in Bridgeview, and it's a very, very weird place to get to. It's tough if you live in Chicago to get to Bridgeview.
They've previously had a defensive style. They're not going to go out and score a bunch of goals on you, even though they did against us that one game where Mallory Pugh just went off. But
not even her name right now. You blew it.
Sorry.
Not her name.
Mallory Swanson. I apologize. Yeah, call me out there. I don't see what they really have that would give us a lot of trouble, to be honest, except for her right off the bat. But, maybe some unknowns will step up. Addie McCain is now with Chicago, so she might get some playing time. So that might be something to kind of take a look at, and hopefully get to see her play again.
True. I forgot McCain went there. Yeah. Ought to have a little stopwatch and set our timer on each game, you know what I mean? Just to make sure we get to everything. But after those first 3, buddy, I think you should be tuned up, ready for the first Challenge Cup game. You've had 3 games to kind of get loose, feel your competition out, and then you get to go play in Houston where fans don't really come. It takes a village down there to get people in that stadium, it seems, men or women.
Yeah. I think they're going to want revenge, right?
Houston's going to want that revenge, yeah.
Even though it's not a regular season game, this is the first time we're going to see them since the playoffs, so they're going to want that revenge. And as we just mentioned, they have Ordonez, who is a phenomenal player. So they've got a few pieces. Some additional pieces there, so it should be tough.
It'll be fun jumping into that Challenge Cup so early in the season, of course. You don't have to really wait for a few months to get into that. So coming back home against Orlando, not great last year. Orlando was not good. So I don't know if they've made any have you heard of any good additions they've had, or are they just going to say, we'll just keep doing the same old thing?
Oh, well, they re-signed Marta, so
Yeah.
Brazilian midfielder who's a legend. But she's coming off of an injury. They did draft Emily Madril, who's one of the best center backs in all of college. They did get another Brazilian forward, I think, who's coming in. There's just too many unknowns. I think they're kind of in a rebuilding year, to be honest. So I don't expect them to kind of come out and make a splash this year. So I don't think Kansas City should have a ton of trouble if they play up to their potential.
Yeah, shouldn't, especially with the home game. And I expect our home games to continue to have more people coming. I assume more fans are getting interested. Hey, buddy, you keep talking about this KC Current. What is that? I've had people ask me. I was just at a Super Bowl party Sunday night, and they were talking about SKC or whatever because they knew we were soccer people. I said, hey, man, really into KC Current as well. He goes, what's that? I was like, it's the women's professional team. They're very new, building a new stadium and everything, new complex. They're great. You should come with us sometime. So I'm rallying the troops, man. I'm getting people out there doing the Lord's work.
Well,
Put me on the payroll. Market.
I've seen it online where people are like, we need to make it to a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people want to come and visit
For sure.
catch a game, especially in the new stadium. I think that year is when we're going to see a lot of people making that extra effort to come and travel.
Yeah, side note, it's just a fun experience. I mean, DJ Donna spinning the hits from the 80s, 90s, and today. And, the halftime festivities are always kind of fun. The video board activities are kind of fun. It's just a good time. Man, I can't wait to get back out there. After Orlando, we stay at home, though. Just 8 days later, we got New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC, which is a mouthful, so we'll just say Gotham.
I'm intrigued by what they did, man. Like, they've done a lot, They got Kelly O'Hara, Lynn Williams. They've made a lot of off-season additions.
Kristen Edmonds, right?
Edmonds, yeah. Victoria Pickett is over there as well.
Yeah.
So that's another season to kind of be with that team. I don't know what to make of them, but I feel like they're trending in the right direction. So they were last year, last place. So I don't know. I'm just interested to see what they turn into, to be honest.
Yeah, because if they thought Lynn Williams was a good enough trade to give us that draft pick to acquire Michelle Cooper, then it's like we'll see how that turns out for them. You know what I mean? Hopefully, not hopefully. If they play us, hopefully they're not great. But we'll see what happens. Well, I'm going to go on a limb and say our next game, May 7th, is our first huge test at BMO Stadium in LA, Angel City FC. That's a big one. I mean, Portland, yes, you can say revenge, but it's hard to read into those early games. Now we're hitting May. We should know what kind of teams these are in this league. We should know what kind of form they're in. That Angel City game, not only that, dude, you better just tack it back to back. San Diego comes to town a week later. Two pretty solid teams with solid ownerships and solid talent on that squad.
You bring up a good point. We don't know what kind of form we're going to be in. We don't even know what our formation is going to look like. We don't know what Matt Potter is going to do and how he's going to use, the midfield that we acquired.
15, yeah. Can you put 15 people in the midfield? No, only 11.
10 in French. So I don't, like you said, this is going to be a good test because early, the second game, Portland, we don't know what we're going to see, right? It's way too early to tell. By this time, I think we're going to have a better idea of who we are, what formation, and what kind of form we're going to be in. Two back-to-back Southern California teams. I think they're going to be huge tests. Angel City, Press is going to be back. Sydney LaRue is going to be back. Hopefully. Well, yeah, they'll be back by the time we play them. They're coming off injuries. So they're going to be a big test. And they barely missed out on the playoffs. Barely missed out. So, I think they're a playoff caliber team and they're getting some of their pieces back. San Diego, kind of the same thing. Their roster is fairly similar as what it was last year, but they're always a tough team. They're top 3 the entire season last year. So those are going to be 2 big tests.
They are. Now you got to think these games are during the week, man. They're not really like a lot of these are during the week. So those 2 games are on a Tuesday, for God's sakes. This interests me a lot. Is that we have a home game Tuesday the 14th at 5 p.m. Oh, we're in May. I'm dumb. I'm in March. Hold on. Everybody shut up. Shut up.
I'm reading this and like Sunday.
Everybody shut up. Everybody shut your mouth.
We don't have weekday games, sir.
Listen, I don't know how to navigate MacBook too well, so I pulled up my calendar. I was in March instead of May. It's a whole thing. Let's move past it. We're getting old. When you get over 35, now you got to get kids to show you how to work things.
Technology is challenging.
So stupid. I'm turning red. Turn off the ring light. Turn off the ring light. It's giving me color. Shit. So May 17th and May 20th. Hey, you want to have a home and home with Racing Louisville for some reason? That is wild. As we go to Lynn Family Stadium in Kentucky and then Children's Mercy Park in KCK right after.
That's very odd. I'm glad you caught that. I didn't.
It's a Challenge Cup. One is, and one's regular season.
But the good thing for the teams, both of them, because they're both traveling at this point to each other's stadiums, the preparation shouldn't be that much different because you're still planning for the same team. Maybe slightly different rosters for the Challenge Cup if they want to get some exposure to some younger players.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch right there, by the way. From May 14th to May 20th, that's a 7-day stretch, 3 games. 3 games in 7 days. You're talking you're a college basketball player right now. You're going Saturday, Monday, Saturday. It's tough, but it is what it is. It happens. Soccer, it's not as easy as basketball players.
This is where your depth is very important.
And we've been building it.
This is where, hopefully, I don't know her timetable, but like Desiree Scott, right? Like, having her back at this point will be helpful. This is why we have all those midfielders, right? And so we can kind of use them interchangeably in these types of stretches, 3 games in 7 days.
Yeah. Racing Louisville has always been kind of a bit of a challenging club. Really great fan base. So I've always enjoyed watching games played at their place. People really, really show up and get excited. It's nice.
They made a lot of international signings. They've done a lot. We'll see. It's a big unknown, right?
Yeah.
It could pay off completely, or they could have a year like they did last year and just kind of float at the bottom third of games.
No, exactly. Right after that, after those 2 games, you're coming back home for a little 2-game stretch. Houston Dash and NC Courage are back in regular season play. Kind of hitting the meat and potatoes of things, you know what I mean? We will be getting into Women's World Cup. Probably some, I don't know, don't they do like some warm-up games or something before that?
They'll probably have some just national games leading up, but the World Cup is July 20th through August 20th.
Yeah, they don't pause this schedule for that.
Well, they do the regular season, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Regular season comes back on August 18th, but you do have 3 Challenge Cup games between July 22nd and August 4th. Okay, well, that's interesting.
Keep in mind, this whole period of time will be without French and Dabinia and Desiree Scott and, maybe Mace.
Well, maybe not Desiree Scott. Side note, did you hear Canada just kind of sucks right now and is not taking care of their athletes?
I'm shaking my head. For people who are listening, I'm shaking my head over here because it's just frustrating. Their revenue went up by a greater margin, over these past few years, and they don't want to pay them anymore. And so did the Canadian men too, right? The whole federation made more money, and they're, and they don't want to pay the players, man. in a World Cup year. In a World Cup year.
It's weird. So there's kind of a strike, right? A little bit of a dissension between the teams and the organization.
I don't know. I hope they get it figured out. I hope the players get what they deserve.
And if they don't, you think they choose not to play the World Cup?
I think they would play regardless, to be honest.
You think so? You think they would cross the picket line?
I think so, just because it happens every 4 years. Some of these might be the last run of like a Sinclair and Scott. And
no, but if you make such a stand, you have to stay with it, man. You have to. When you cave, it's like, then you're not taken seriously ever again.
I'm a caver. You're not. You
can't cave, dude. You have to question like social rules and stuff. You have to be a questioner.
I just hope it doesn't come to that. I hope they get it figured out. I don't know. It's frustrating that we're here at this point, right? Like, again, we're having another podcast talking about players getting what they deserve.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it, of course, but things are not great.
Yeah.
In Canada. So.
Yeah.
Shit, what are we doing? We boring people with this schedule stuff yet? What do you think? When we leave off at May 26th, June 3rd, Houston-NC Courage. Is that what we said?
Yep. Meat and potatoes.
Yeah. Meat and potatoes of the schedule, man. Then you got a little bit of a run coming up again. A little bit of a stretch from June 10th, June 18th, with 2 regular season games. But right in the middle is a Challenge Cup game. 2 of those 3 are at Children's Mercy Park. 1, we have to go to OL Reign, which I'm like, eesh, scary. Challenge Cup game should be a bunny against Red Stars. I would hope that's a gimme. And then you got Washington Spirit on June 18th. Any storylines at that point in the season?
I think at that point we're probably bouncing back from World Cup play. Or actually, no, this is prior. Sorry about that. Again, it's just a little bit of the same thing. Like, we're gonna know what we are, we're gonna know who we are, and we're gonna just have a better feel for the personnel we have on the field.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, but with the exception of a few teams, on paper, we're better than most teams, right? Like, we should win these games. Should doesn't always happen, right? Anything can happen in soccer. But I think that at this point, we should, in the standings, I would like to think we're sitting kind of pretty, right?
You would hope so. Yeah. On paper, things look fine, but paper can get crumbled and ripped and put on fire. So it's so you just never know.
You never know.
In end of June, you got Orlando Pride again. Got to go down to Orlando. Let's just kind of quick hit these here, really. You got to go to Portland, July 1st. Never a good place to play. They, they draw quite the crowd. The organization is crap. We've talked many times how the Portland's organization is crap, and I think a lot of the fans, do like some sort of silent protest all the time, as if the organization cares. But July 1st, man, Portland Thorns. My bad. I feel better about hopefully trying to get a victory when they come to Children's Mercy Park early in the season than I do when they're in form and everything.
Agreed. I completely agree.
Yep. You go to Racing Louisville again, and that's the end of the regular season. Then you break the end of that little stretch, and you break for the World Cup. But July 22nd, 29th, August 4th, 3 Challenge Cup games. So,
and if history is any indication, which it isn't, because it seems like teams, they could do poorly the previous year, and then you would think they're going to do poorly again, but they do really well. So you really can't tell on how they played last year, and kind of, use that information to see how they're going to do this year. But just looking at who we're playing, I think we got to be sitting pretty good at this point. I don't know what Washington Spirit are doing roster-wise. I don't expect them to compete, top 5, but you never know. Racing's a big unknown. Orlando, I don't see them doing something like that. Houston could be a good team. We're just going to hit a lot of the middle ground teams, man. games that we have to win, by the way. We can afford to drop the OL Reign games. We can afford to drop points to Portland. We can't drop points to Orlando, Louisville, North Carolina, the teams we should beat.
Right. I think this Challenge Cup break, though, the regular season break, it comes at a decent time, and there are two things to keep an eye on since they still got to play these Challenge Cup games while the World Cup's going on. One, it's either going to suck because we're going to have an exhausted team with maybe injuries, knock on wood, you don't know. Or it could be amazing that we get to stay in form and play these Challenge Cup games and continue to get better. Time will tell on that one. We've seen it go both ways in all leagues before, so hopefully we can just stay the course.
And I think if you ask anybody, you look on paper at our roster, we probably have the most depth of any team. I really believe that. You take a look at like the OL Reign, I mean, they have a great team, but I don't know if their depth is there. They have a lot of national team players too. So if they have any lead up, just kind of, easy games, like those players are going to be called up.
Yeah.
We have a few players called up, but we have a lot that are kind of on that cusp that are good enough to be called up, but just don't quite make the cut. And I think that's going to benefit us this season probably more than any other team, if that makes sense.
Well, absolutely. And coming back from the World Cup break, we get to invite OL Reign to our house. So that's a good one to come back to regular season play. Megan Rapinoe whipping in those crosses that are just dangerous as all get out. Never liked it. Every time she got behind a corner kick, I was like, this sucks.
Yeah. And you know what? At this point, this is August 18th, right? I mean, If we're going to the finals of the World Cup, we're still playing, right?
Well, let me pull up April 18th here. Oh, August, you said? Okay.
Sorry, August, yeah.
No, I'm making a joke on myself.
Oh.
I suck at calendars. Yeah, man. And then...
So that there may be, if the U.S. is around the finals, they may be gone. These national team players, Orlando has a lot of them. I'm sorry, not Orlando. OL Reign have a lot of them.
True. That'd be a nice way to catch them for a nice time.
Squad, yeah.
I like that. You hate to hope for something like that, but we'll take it. So then you got to go back down to Houston, birth, and then Angel City comes home. I think that's a good one, man, because Angel City has players that will draw a crowd in Kansas City as well. We all know how that goes. Sometimes people, the casuals, the neutrals come to see an Alex Morgan, a Sydney LaRue, will you?
Christine Press.
Yeah, Christine? Is that how it's said?
Is it?
I thought it was Kristen Press.
Kristen Press, yeah.
Are you sure?
Looking it up right now.
You're like, no, I'm not sure.
I just always say, I don't know, I just always say Press, and I just...
Yeah, okay. Well, I just found out that it's not pronounced Rihanna, it's actually Rihanna. Did you know that?
I did not.
I heard that somewhere, and I was like, I don't care enough to look that up, but you've convinced me.
Yeah. And
huh?
Oh no, I was just gonna say Angel City. They play tough. Like they're always gonna be in the game. Like they may not be up, but they're gonna be. They're a tough team. They're just a gritty team. And last year, I think we split with them. So I think it's a team that we would like to distance ourselves from, in terms of competition. But they're gonna be a tough team.
Well, and at least we get after that game a little week off. Because then we go to San Diego 2 weeks after that. Snapdragon Stadium, one of the coolest names for a stadium I've ever heard of.
That's pretty cool.
And I think that week off is going to be crucial, man, because right after that, we get another week off after the San Diego game. Why is this? Are these going to be potential Challenge Cup knockout games that are slotted into those weeks off?
They could be.
Okay.
They very well could be.
Because it feels weird to have a week off in between two games back to back like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, our home season finale is against Chicago Red Stars, October 7th. Bringing them to town. Hopefully a bloodbath.
I'm looking at these last 5 games because I'm looking down the stretch, right? For the first time, we're going to have a decision day. I'm doing air quotes over here. We don't know if that's what they're going to call it, but it's effectively they're all going to play at the same time. We're going to see who finishes where. But leading up to that, I want to see if are we going to be in a good spot to make a nice final run. Like these last 5 games, Angel City, which will be tough. San Diego will be tough. Washington Spirit and Chicago, I don't think they'll be that bad. But Gotham is that big unknown right now. They did a lot of retooling with their roster. We don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to be like. So that could either be a game that we should win or something a lot more competitive than what we're hoping for.
Yeah. 3 of the last 5 are very challenging. You hate to drop points at the very end, which might have to do with seeding or maybe locking up a first-round bye in the playoffs.
Home playoff game. We'd like to see that.
Yeah. We'll just keep eyes on those last 5 games, people. That's a good point, man. So, we did it. We made it through. That regular season decision day, October 15th against Gotham. I'm excited, man. It's coming up real soon. Just a little over a month.
Quicker than we know it. Like, it'll be here before we're players are, we should start to see a little bit more what our roster is going to look like in terms of who's going to earn contracts, like what rookies are going to, make the team. There's still a lot we kind of don't know on those last, few spots that the players are battling it out for.
Yeah.
And they're training right now. So hopefully we'll have something there.
Well, I think mark your calendars. I think we got some USWNT this week, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that, I think there's a game tonight, at least on my calendar, versus Canada down in Orlando, Florida. So that's cool. Watch maybe, I don't know if we'll see AD there or not, but at least watch the game, because why wouldn't you watch the game? When do they play again after that? Not till the following week, right?
Right.
Yeah, following Wednesday against Brazil, man.
Oof.
So why wouldn't you watch that game with Debinha on there and AD France on the other side? I think that sounds like a hell of a time.
So I got a fun little statistic for you. Somebody on Twitter, Allison Gale, I want to make sure she gets credit for this. But she put together a chart for quick turnarounds in terms of the current have 6 games where we have 3 to 4 days rest. 5 games where we have 5 to 6 days rest, and 16 games where we have 7+ days rest.
Okay.
That's middle of the pack. So we're not on any extreme one side or another. As a comparison, Orlando Pride have 9 games on 3 to 4 days rest. The Portland Thorns have 3 days on 3 to 4 days rest, and it just kind of varies. But the current are kind of in the middle of that pack. So that was kind of cool and worth mentioning.
That is worth mentioning. That is cool. I like that a lot. It's helpful, man. It's helpful to have those kinds of things.
But how you feeling about just overall about this schedule? Feeling pretty good?
It feels as good as it can be, I guess. A fun one will be I think it'll be cool to play Louisville back to back. Is it going to be a revenge type situation for one team, or will one team sweep the other team? It's just always kind of a fun one when things work out like that.
I'm interested to see how teams handle the Challenge Cup in season, right? We haven't seen that before. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but depth is going to be so crucial. I'll put our depth up against anybody's. And I'm really excited to see some of these younger players get some time.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. Well, look at that. We filled up a whole show with a schedule, and I didn't know if we'd do it.
I'm proud of you. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, a few technology snafus, but you made it through, sir.
Well, because I'm at the house with the good internet right now. So what are you going to do? Well, cool, man. What, anything else? You want to pronounce Hannah Glass or anything like that? Anything else?
No, I will not attempt to pronounce that. But just looking forward to seeing what kind of news we have next week, man. Some stuff is bound to pop up.
Bound to pop up. Appreciate you guys letting us gush a little bit about the Super Bowl. That was definitely a fun game to watch if you were any kind of football fan at all, or a good game for neutrals. Let me ask you this. Was that a holding call at the end of the game like that?
Yes.
Yeah. What's everyone saying it's not? What was that? He grabbed his jersey. Well, how's that not a holding call?
He held him when he went to turn upfield. That's a whole. Even if it happened early in the play.
Yeah. But it altered his route.
Yeah, it altered his route. It was a holding call. He admitted it.
Yeah. He even admitted it. How are analysts like, no, that's not holding. You don't call that. And it's like, what do you mean you don't call that? It's not like an umpire gets a bigger strike zone towards the end of a game or a smaller strike zone. No, you stay consistent. You call it because it is what it is.
Could you imagine if that had not been called? It would have been.
Yeah.
He just held a guy who was making his break up the field.
Yeah.
It was a holding call. I mean, it was holding.
Had to get your take on that. Everyone seems to be split on this thing, and I'm like, I don't really get it. Seriously, a lot of people are split just as much as is this a blue or a gold dress? Like everyone's got a freaking opinion, and I'm like, I guess I don't understand the rules if you're saying that you can just be relaxed on penalties and stuff. No, that's not holding. Nah, that's not pass interference. Not with 5 minutes left in the game. You can't call that. What?
The commentator was like, that's kind of ticky-tack. I wouldn't call that. But then the rules analyst, whoever they phoned right in or brought in immediately, was like, yeah, he clearly held him at the beginning,
That's ticky-tack. I wouldn't call that. Well, that's why you're in the booth, jabroni. That's why you announce the game and give your commentary that we, for some reason, care about. I'd much rather put their asses on mute and unmute it for commercials, I tell you that.
Let me ask you a question. If the rule was reversed and it was the Kansas City defender who did that, would you think that was a holding?
Yeah, not holding. No. No, I don't know. If I saw the jersey pull, I think I'd be like, well, that's unfortunate. I've never been a guy that's like, you can't call that late in the game, because I umpired baseball, man. I know that you can't get a bigger strike zone because you want to go home early or some shit. Like, you can't. You have to stay consistent and call it what it is. Well, I'd be sad, and I'd probably bitch at the TV and then see the review over and over and over and say, okay, yeah, he tugged his jersey. What are you going to do?
And let's not act like, there's the chance that wouldn't have even altered the outcome of the game. It wasn't like it was, 3rd and 20 in their, in Chiefs territory, right? Like, it changed about 40 seconds. Well,
it was a tale of two halves, and we won the second half. So,
you know what? They allowed 28 points in the second half.
Yeah. Bye, Eagles, bye. That's how it is, man.
Exactly.
Well, cool. Guys, thanks for tuning in and letting us talk football of two different kinds. And we'll catch you next week for sure. You want to follow us online at No Other Pod, at Dan Kooser, at Chris Wright 21. Instagram as well, nootherpod@gmail.com for an email. What else we got, man? You got anything else for the good peeps?
No, just enjoy your victory, Chiefs fans. Enjoy it.
Say it. Take you as a fan, bro. We'll talk about this. I'll wine and dine you.
All right.
Folks, thanks so much. We love you. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this production of KC Sports Network, the fastest growing sports media network in Kansas City. Check out these videos that feature our team of more than 15 former players, insiders, and analysts, bringing you the best Chiefs coverage you can find. Entertain, educate, inform. KC Sports Network.